Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Study of X, the X-Men podcast where we talk about the Krakoa era of X-Men comics in chronological order. My name is Tim and with me as always is Sergio and Chris.
Hello! It's the end of the week. I'm so ready for it to be done, but first we gotta cross some X's and dot some I's, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but it sounded cooler in my head.
Hey, you know what? It's probably related to all of the X magic. I'm sure there's something in there about eyes too. I'm sure Apocalypse knows.
No, not much X magic in this one. I feel like we got some stones. That was cool.
Yeah, we do get some stones. Not a lot of magic, a lot of politics though.
Yeah. So in this issue, or just this episode in general, we got a fun issue of X-Men where we have Magneto, Apocalypse, and Xavier attending some kind of ambassador summit in Switzerland. And if you're looking at those three mutants and wondering who is the one that is the most interested in discussing politics, the answer may surprise you.
It's true. You're going to have to listen to find out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are you two ready to get into it?
Yes.
Let's go.
Perfect. All right. So we are starting with X-Men number 4 here. This is going to be a little bit different than the reading order suggested at the end of the comics, as normally X-Men number 4 is placed at the end of all of these number 4s. So usually it's after Fallen Angels and New Mutants, but we're going to be starting it here at the top like we have been for a while, as it doesn't really change much story-wise.
We like saving the best for last.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's Fallen Angels.
And it is Fallen Angels.
We're gonna keep doing that till issue 6.
And then after that, we're gonna cancel the podcast because our favorite comic will have ended.
I know, I'm gonna be so sad. But tell us about Switzerland.
All right, I will tell you about Switzerland. But first, for X-Men number 4, the title of it is Global Economics. It is written by Hickman, and it was released in early January of 2020.
We're getting close to COVID.
Yeah, we're getting very close to COVID. We're still about, 2.5 months out, I believe. But we are right there.
I think I got sent to work from home in February, so yeah, we're right up on it.
Mm-hmm. But thankfully, no pandemic yet. Instead, we have our 3 mutants that we mentioned heading to Davos, Switzerland, as the World Economic Forum is being held. This is a real event that is held every now and again, where leaders of the world and economic titans, celebrities, and philanthropists all meet together and chat about how wonderful they are and what they're doing for the world.
Of course, it's held in Switzerland.
Of course it is. Always is. And this year's topic is a hot topic, as just about a month before is when Krakoa revealed itself and became a nation recognized by most other states.
I'm so here for a men in rooms discussing politics episode.
Oh yeah, me too. So I'm going to need everyone's thoughts here about 1, this sick ship that they land in, and 2, Apocalypse's suit.
Okay.
They're all pretty solid.
Yeah, 1, the ship is sick. I like that the only X is the cockpit. It looks really cool. 2nd, I want to know who made Apocalypse's suit, because I'm sure they had to take measurements, and I'm sure that was incredibly awkward.
There's a mention of someone buying clothes, or rather, a tailor later on in one of these issues.
Oh yeah, maybe it was Jumbo.
Maybe it was them, yeah.
I love this shot here of them getting off the plane too. This is a cool panel. I like Magneto's tie just kind of flapping behind him.
Mm-hmm. And everybody looking good. They do also have 2 bodyguards with them. We have Cyclops and Gorgon here. Gorgon, it is his first appearance that we have seen, but we do know our good boy Scott.
Gorgon here is has been in another Hickman run, one of his first with Marvel. Actually, it was his Secret Warriors run. In that, Gorgon was in an antagonistic role because he was in Hydra. So, yep.
Gotcha. Okay, more Nazi crossover.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get into it a little bit.
Yeah. So as they all arrive, our 3 representatives of Krakoa are easily able to get into the room where they're going to meet with other leaders. The 2 bodyguards do have to stay outside, but that's fine. I mean, I'm sure Apocalypse, Magneto, and Xavier can take care of themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we're gonna do this over dinner.
Mm-hmm. And we do have a nice menu here of what they're eating. It all looks very fancy. I can't say anything else other than that.
It's real bougie.
See, this is a good data page. I rate this highly.
Yeah, very, very good. I love that it's just like the menu, and then at the bottom we get the attendance thing where we just kind of see where everyone's from.
Yeah, this is environmental storytelling to me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like we didn't need to know all this stuff in the actual comic itself. Like this just helps. Now you get an idea of like where all these people are from without like having to just kind of awkwardly pause the story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So out of these 4 courses, which one would you like be more excited about?
Probably the
We've
olive
got
wagyu.
just to be clear with the audience, we've got watermelon gazpacho infused with habanero and poblano chiles. We've got shredded kale, mushrooms, bacon, and parmesan. Sounds like a salad, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Olive wagyu Kagawa prefecture with Colbert sauce. I have no idea what Colbert sauce is. I should look that up.
Yeah, let's hold on. I am very curious about that. Colbert, not Stephen Colbert sauce.
And we've got brioche Tracy de Metz. I must have butchered that pronunciation.
Either way, it's probably delicious.
Uh-huh. So it's basically an entry, a salad, like main dish, and dessert, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
It seems solid.
Okay, Colbert sauce seems kind of like a butter type deal almost. Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay.
I'm very, very curious about that watermelon gazpacho, but I bet that steak bops.
Yeah. I was going to say, this steak has probably been prepared way in advance and is worth more than a small car.
Yeah, but like watermelon infused with habanero, like it's just like, whoa,
That
what's
sounds
going on
weird.
there?
Yeah. All right, Sergio, what would you pick?
Now that I kind of think through this, yeah, the main course sounds great. I think the salad is like a safe choice, but I really do love mushrooms.
See, you can have that. I'm okay with mushrooms. I can skip that one.
Huh, okay.
All
I think
right.
we're probably underestimating the dessert.
I have a feeling we are.
Okay. Brioche. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Let me look up what this is.
Tressé de Metz.
Brioche Tressé de Metz. Okay, let me see what this looks like. Looks like bread.
I mean, brioche is a type of bread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if it was what the rest of it means, if it's a fancier kind of bread, what they're putting on it.
It's like a sweet bread, apparently.
Huh.
Yeah, it looks like it's powdered.
Like twisted powdered bread, sweet.
Yeah,
I guess.
It seems to be presented like braided.
Yeah.
Interesting. I bet that one's Apocalypse's favorite.
I'm gonna guess it's kind of weak, actually. I'm sure it's fine,
Yes, sir.
but I would choose the steak.
Yeah. Do you think Apocalypse has a sweet tooth?
No. He grew up in like Egypt times. Like I'm gonna say the palate didn't change all too much.
No,
Okay,
he probably thinks if you have a sweet tooth, you're not as good. You're not fighting for survival if you do that.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
But, he might go for the carbs in the bread.
I bet. Yeah, he might go for the carbs. I bet Xavier has a sweet tooth. That's who has a sweet tooth of these 3.
Yeah, I can say it.
But all right.
Back to the like meeting.
Yes, food aside, the only people that I do want to point out that are in this meeting, since we do get a list of all of them, is we do have a representative from Wakanda here, China, and the US, and then we have a couple of business individuals from other countries and an academic from Brazil.
Yep, our business representatives are from Italy, Switzerland, and India here. China and US have ambassadors, while Wakanda has someone that just works with ambassador but isn't actually an ambassador.
Yeah,
Hmm.
this sure means very little. One of the comments I have throughout this issue is I had a hard time like figuring out who was uh, talking because they don't really have like distinct opinions or anything. This is just an assemblage of
Yeah,
people that are generally opposed to the X-Men, or not
yeah.
opposed, but like concerned.
I feel like Wakanda's place here is kind of interesting, but I would agree with that assessment for the most part.
Yeah,
It's just kind of, yeah, we don't like X-Men, but yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. So we do get back, and everybody says their hellos to each other. Even Apocalypse, even though his is a little more awkward than the others.
Yep, and we get a toast to peace. Before an immediate cut to some generals or some
Mhm.
army people. I think this is kind of fun. We see some guy who is messing with some things on the side of his head that I'm assuming is a psychic dampener. And another soldier lectures him on if that breaks contact with your skin for a little bit, they're gonna make us. And Xavier immediately makes them.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Sergio, you were gonna say something?
Oh no. Go ahead.
Okay.
These look like PMC, like private military guys, is what I was thinking.
Yes. Yeah. No, they definitely do. And yeah, this is something that the issue is going to do a lot, where we're going to see this side mission here with soldiers and their guns, and Xavier and everybody else having their political discussion. So to kick this off, Xavier lets Cyclops and Gorgon know that there is a bunch of individuals with guns waiting in the wings, and that they should probably go take care of it.
Do you like how Cyclops flips his friend phrase from a couple pages ago?
I do. It's very good and it's very smooth, and you can immediately tell what he's implying with.
Yeah. Like he in the first time he uses it toward this dude, it's very clearly like, yeah, we'll try not to make trouble, man. Don't just, leave us alone. Don't mess with Gorgon's sword. We'll be cool. And then they get this order and it's like, all right, man, we're going to have to make trouble.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry, but yeah, we're gonna have to do this.
Yeah.
And with the political talk, to answer the question from earlier, interestingly, Magneto is the speaker of the group here. As the discussions quickly start about the political destabilization that Krakoa has made on the world stage. And they're asking what the mutant endgame is, which, to Magneto's response, is they've been pretty clear about it. He's saying that they're not hiding anything.
Yeah. I do have a complaint here regarding the like political and economical like destabilization that has been mentioned in one of the very first pages. It says the resulting economic and political upheaval almost certainly ensures that this topic will dominate the conversation regarding the like Krakoan emergence. And we really haven't seen that. I have no idea what they mean by political and economical upheaval.
Yeah,
Other than that, we've seen people like surrounding the gates and stuff. But like, yeah,
I guess I can kind of buy that political upheaval is happening. I don't know what you're talking about when they say economic, though.
I get that it's happening because I obviously like an emergence of a like superpower that
Yeah.
Krakoa is going to like create a big impact on those fields. But we just haven't seen anything to show for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree, that yeah, they haven't shown anything, but I feel like the implication of what it can do almost doesn't need to directly be said, because they did just introduce a new drug onto the market that is way better than anything else we currently have. So trying to imagine what the economic impacts of that is going to be, I feel like we could all come to roughly the same conclusion it's going to look like.
No, I want to say it.
Okay.
Please, I'm begging.
That's also fair. That's also fair.
What politician has lost his position over this? I don't know.
Yeah.
What country like had a revolution as a result of Krakoa emerging?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where did the like classes shift in a way that like ruined people's life or made those higher up in the social ladder like have their lives worse? No. We've got nothing so far.
No implication. We need the actual receipts here.
Yes, I want to see the receipts.
Okay. Well, we might in the future. I mean, as much as I would love to see what that looks like, part of me is also just okay with more of the implying nature of it. I didn't have that much of an issue with it. I did note it here when I was reading it again. I was like, oh, yeah, because, yeah, we haven't seen it.
Yeah, I guess most of the times we flashed towards like regular countries away from a gate. It just looks like business as usual.
Yeah.
Like later we're gonna see, I think it's a bit of like, I don't know if it's New York, where that tailor X-Men goes to buy some
Right.
clothes. And it looks like it's a Tuesday. It doesn't seem to me like anything's happening that goes like that has or is showing the impact of Greco and the world.
Yeah, I would agree with that for now. But yeah, so there is something else I think is very interesting to note here. If you don't mind moving on, I don't know if you were still talking about it.
No, not at all.
But so the Wakandan guy here kind of hits them back with, yeah, it makes sense for you to put your country's self-interest first. Magneto asked them if they were planning on reconsidering the medication offer, like the relationship with Krakoa, and the guy's just kind of like, nah. But I find the dynamic here very interesting because Wakanda very much seems to be the only one here that's kind of approaching this from a different perspective. They don't really seem as threatened as everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, from what I know of Wakanda in the comics and also from the movies, this makes sense. I'm sure they already have their own version of similar drugs that might even work better for them. So they really don't have anything to worry here. Maybe from a military standpoint they might, but clearly that's not on the mind of this representative or possibly even back home. So to that one, yeah, I'm like, okay, it's fine that they're okay. They don't worry about this. He almost seems to be here just to see how it's all gonna go down.
Yeah. I guess it's also a show of like status, like being here amongst the like representatives of China and the US. It, shows that they are like up there with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
They're on the same plane.
I'm also not as surprised, I feel, about Magneto being the one that does the talking. I feel like he's been the one doing the talking for a while now. Like, Professor X feels very much like a figurehead and nothing much more than that. Like, he's been there for a couple of parties and, like, toasts.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like I've seen him really go into, like, ideology or anything. I think he goes a little bit into that later this issue.
Yes, he does.
Oh, yeah. Magneto being the one to jump in here is probably the least surprising thing. Like, this is absolutely something he would...
Yeah, and interestingly enough, when this first came out, it was my first foray into X-Men comics. I was actually really surprised it was Magneto, of all people, that is doing the talking. But having reread all of these and discussed it with you two, and noting how much Magneto is doing the political talking for Krakoa, it now makes sense. I don't know why I didn't notice it.
Magneto loves this. This is right up his alley.
Mm-hmm. No, he adores this game more than anything else.
Yeah.
And continuing that political game, we have some other representatives bring up the fact that Krakoa's borders are still closed. And if they do want to foster trust between everybody, why don't they, open it up? Which, to the mutants, they're going to say, well, of course we're not going to, would we do that? But interestingly, they don't necessarily fire back on that position. They instead move on and begin talking about something else. Because the politicians had the right of it. Krakoa is hiding something on the island. It is not public knowledge that resurrection is a thing.
Yeah, they definitely know something's going on. They probably, like, not directly, but they have to suspect something about Xavier, like, being unscathed from the attack on the island a couple of issues back. So they definitely know, like, there's stuff going on in the side.
Yeah, that they're just not aware of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it adds more depth to this conversation that they're all having. And this begins, I feel, the tension that is going to be building up throughout the issue. It's never overtly stated, but there's always everybody's just a few moments away from starting a fight with each other.
Yeah, and I feel like it's funny because the one that diffuses this friction for the most part is Magneto by being just transparent and like being very mask off about what they're doing.
Oh yeah, Magneto is to use a mafia term, open wolfing here.
Yes. Yes, he absolutely is. And I think a part of that is why I like this issue so much, which we'll get into as we keep going. But the fact that they are being very blatant and very open with their plans is a very good power move to choose, especially amongst all these world leaders that they have here.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that, a couple of the delegates also bring up the fact that their scientists have looked into Krakoan medicine and found that the weekly regimen that the mutants are recommending to people isn't something that's actually needed. They don't have to do that. Which Magneto responds with, well, it mitigates negative effects and everything, but if that wasn't the case, then, well, we would say we learned from you, because we learned from the best and how to make people beholden to debt.
Yeah, I really like the spiel he goes into here.
Yeah.
You know, Magneto sometimes are right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For as some incorrect choices that he makes, he also makes really, really good ones. Like quoting The Island from Aldous Huxley here when describing the West, because it is very accurate.
Guns, debt, and becoming obsolete. The 3 pillars of Western prosperity.
Mm-hmm. And that almost goes to the crux of what because while they are doing things, the mutant way, as they're putting it, they are also taking the lessons that they learn from humanity and using it to their advantage. And capitalism is definitely one of the things that they're going to be using.
Does anyone know anything about Huxley?
I've read Brave New World, but not much beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Sergio would have the most because I know who he is, but I haven't read anything by him.
Okay, fair enough. I don't really either. I was going to defer to one of you. But yeah, okay, moving on.
Mm-hmm. And again, with Magneto, with those absolutely perfect lines, he says here, right now, you people are institutionally teaching your children to rewrite and unlearn history. Well, I promise you one thing, we will never forget where we came from, but you will. You always do.
Yeah, this is all of this is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we've kind of talked a lot about Krakoa just kind of feeling like it's just doing the West again. And I do still think that's true, but I do think he does bring up some interesting points. Like the debt thing isn't really a thing on Krakoa at the moment.
Yeah, sadly we don't know what's replaced it or like much about like the economic system of Krakoa, if there is any. I don't still know how like people have stuff in like their rooms in the sextant. I don't know what process they have to go through. Did they bring those through the gates? Is Krakoa producing stuff? Because I know that it is producing stuff and people are making requests to it. Is there a queue? Is there some sort of voucher system? I don't know.
I am very curious onto how all that works too, because it's just, I'm sure you bring stuff from home, but like, how do you make a portrait with your face on it like Sunspot does if you don't already have one?
Mm-hmm. Or 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do really like Magneto's speech here because it does like lean on we've learned from like geopolitics from the geopolitics game and we are going to play it. You have opened the door to us. You've made us a country and we're not going to let that go to waste by also playing the game. We're now a superpower and we know what to do with that in a way that's going to like harm you very effectively and without having to like inflict violence or physical violence in a way that's also not that not as truthful as you maybe think for a nation of like superpowered people that are like constantly fighting amongst all of these sub-series that we're reading through. But
Yeah.
they're definitely leveraging like the tools of um, capitalism and just
Mm-hmm.
general geopolitics in order to win this war of theirs. And it is a war. Like he comes very close to like outright saying it. It is a war for replacing the dominant species in the world, and he makes no like it's not subtle at all.
Yeah, no, he is very open about like this is what we're doing. Just you're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah.
Like we've learned all this capitalism stuff from you. We know how to play the game. It's the same one you're doing.
I really like I think it's page 18. I'm not sure where the panels alternate between Magneto eating his food, like bringing it up to his mouth, and going back into the plate to cook some more of it while he speaks of this stuff. It's really solid. I really like it.
Oh yeah, I love just all of the panels of just Magneto casually eating food through all of this. It's very good.
Mm-hmm. And something interesting to note since we're talking about this, most of these pages are, 9 small panels all on the page of just people talking and also interspersed with Cyclops and Gorgon fighting all of these military men. But despite all of the dialogue and this being very dialogue heavy, it's very engaging. It keeps your attention the entire time. You want to keep reading, you want to keep going, as opposed to any of the other comics that we have read, where if you get to a lot of dialogue and text, sometimes it can be a little exhausting.
Yeah. I really do think the tension kind of that's running throughout this is doing like a lot of work here. It's very compelling stuff. Like Magneto's just like out here just dropping bombs.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then as we're moving on here, since we're going to be skipping over it pretty quickly, as Magneto was talking about how human history has a collective whole in it, I am a history buff. I love history, so having him reference the Dark Ages and also the Bronze Age collapse, I love it. There's a small part of me that's just super excited when that got name dropped. And I am currently reading a book on the Bronze Age collapse. I can tell you that unfortunately it was not Apocalypse that caused it, but it is fun to tell all of the people there that he was the one that personally caused that moment in history.
Oh, what book are you reading about the Bronze Age collapse? Also, I agree that moment's great.
It's 1177 BC by Eric C. Klein, I believe. It's very, very good. It kind of sets up that era and also how a lot of those civilizations. Uh, but
Hold on
that
a
is
second.
that is a whole history thing that I could speak forever about.
Oh, I've read this book.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I agree. It's interesting stuff.
yeah, we'll have to talk about that later.
Okay.
But back here with the X-Men, one of the delegates does point out rightly that all of this talk goes to one direction, which is war, like we were discussing. But as we also already said, Magneto pretty much openly says, no, there's not going to be a war, and this is how we're going to do it. And he breaks down piece by piece how they are going to make a bunch of money, put everybody else in debt with their medication, and then use that money and that influence to deplatform and take away the people that are very loudly anti-mutant, and just over time make the world a more pro-mutant place.
I want to give a small nod here to casually while he is doing this, Cyclops is like, hey, can you help me out a little bit as a gun's aiming at him? And Magneto just yanks the gun out of this guy's hands from like way over here.
Yeah, it's not even a subtle flex of how strong he is. Of he can be in the middle of this whole monologue and just be like, all right, yoink, did that for you. I'm just going to keep going and keep eating like nothing.
Yeah, that's cool. The fight feels to me like one of those kids show where they are mandated to have at least one fight per episode so they can keep like selling toys. But it's fine.
Yeah.
I do get that. You need a sprinkle of action here and there.
I do think it's a bit of that. I also think it's actually more representative of what the mutants are currently doing, because you do have Magneto having this whole speech about how we are going to take over everything with no war. And then a little bit later on, you're going to have Xavier give his normal speech about how much he loves humanity. But we just saw with X-Force about how Xavier said that they need a fist in mutant kind that is not beholden to the Quiet Council to do things outside of the law. So I think this is supposed to show the dichotomy of the mutant nation, where, yeah, they are going to have this very peaceful operation, but they're also ready to fight and do what they need to do to protect.
Also, yeah, Sergio, you are spot on with this panel of Magneto eating steak. This is good stuff.
Yeah, I like the smirk at the end and the representatives looking like aghast at the other end of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They just weren't expecting him to be just pretty much mask off. Here's what we're doing.
Mhm.
Yep. So yeah, the fight's over, and then we get a data page of the rundown of the Krakoa captains.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we have gotten some information on the captains before, at least with Cyclops, Magic being on there. I do think the new one here is Gorgon, which they mentioned specifically that he is supposed to accompany any of the Quiet Council members, specifically Charles Xavier, whenever he goes out, just so they don't have a repeat of the first assassination.
Yeah. Magic seems to hang out with the New Mutants. Cyclops seems to hang out with the X-Men, and Bishop seems to hang out with just like their respect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, not too much there, nothing too revealing. We do get another cut to Gorgon, though, as with his batch of soldiers, he has cut off every single one of their arms.
Sure has.
Yeah, and is leaving them alive. Anyway, we go back to Magneto, who has noticed the person that has tried to sick a bunch of military people on him.
Yes. Right before that, actually, speaking of Gorgon and this hallway of arms and bodies, something interesting here is Gorgon mentions that normally he would have just killed these men, but because he is led by brilliant mutants who understand war better than he could, he says they're going to leave them alive in their shame and disgrace, which I feel kind of is fueled by what Magneto was just talking about, how they are going to fight this war with no guns and instead with money. It's the same thing of, we could destroy you, but instead we're going to let you live and see what happens when we take over. It's the same mindset, but two very different applications of the same thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So on this next page, I do kind of understand your complaint here, Sergio, because this dude who apparently got the military people on him, I have no idea who this is.
Is this the U.S.?
I
think
could be.
so. I want to say there might be a small line of dialogue later on that hints that he's from the United States. I'll point it out if we see it, but my guess would be a...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, he tells them that they're not coming. The other members of the table kind of lecture him a bit about doing a bad. And he's just like, hey, he's gone mask off. Why are you guys not upset about this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very good.
Xavier talks about how they tried to take his life.
Yes, and interestingly, it only took them a month. So we get a bit of a timeline here, because, again, what we believe is the U.S. ambassador is asking how long this peaceful coexistence is going to last. And Xavier says, well, you did try to kill me a month ago, and as you can see, it didn't stick. But don't worry, I still love and care for you, so therefore I'm just going to let you know that if you do this again, we will strike back.
Yeah, so... There's an interesting line here also where this ambassador says it wasn't us who tried to get you killed. And Magneto says it wasn't us, they say. It was them, the bad humans, they always say. Pretty much just saying, like, it doesn't really matter which group it was from.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of had a thought that maybe it was intentionally vague who these people are representing and like what countries they're from. But also there's a lot of people here that it's very obvious what country they're from, so I don't
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know.
just gonna
That's
chalk this one up to like bad planning. I
yeah.
think this would have been tighter if it was like 4 people, not 7.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the point of having like an academic from Brazil is.
Yeah, like why is there someone from Switzerland here? We don't need them.
If anything, I'm sure it's just to show that, hey, this is a World Economic Forum. But yeah, we only get dialogue from maybe 4 of these people, maybe 5. It's not
And this
everybody.
seems to be like an exclusive lunch anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And something to note, actually, Tim, about that line you pointed out that Magneto says, he goes on to essentially say that, yes, they always say this, and we even made it a law not to kill them, and yet they still keep trying to kill us. As I've stated before, X-Men have always been the stand-in for social minorities. I'm sure that this is a play on that, where typically if one mutant does something bad, it's all mutants are bad. It's just another one of that, but now reversed to the human side of it.
Right. Xavier has a bit of interesting dialogue here too, because I think it really does show kind of how far he's kind of drifted away from the original Xavier thing. Like he's pretty much saying like he wants to believe in them still, like he still wants to believe in the world, but kind of has moved on from that in general. And I don't think a lot of Xavier's students have quite figured out that's where he's at mentally. Like I think Wolverine still thinks this is the Xavier that does still believe in this original dream.
Yes, I would agree with you. I'm almost not sure if what he says here about, hey, I would still like for us to live peacefully together. I don't know how much he actually believes that. I think he's just saying it to keep up appearances. Because again, I keep going back to that X-Force issue we just had, where he's putting together a shadow CIA to be able to probably go kill people. So that's very much not the Xavier I know.
Yeah. So yeah, the human guy gets mad. They tell him to evolve and adapt like they did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just as mutants have always done, they have evolved and adapted in order to survive, and now it's humanity's turn. Because, as Magneto says, they are now part of the Brotherhood of Nations. And while they are still new to it, they did have very good teachers, and as we can see, they learn very, very quickly. And, like I said earlier, they give their final threat that if anyone does try to come and assassinate them again, they will strike back. And that is the end of our issue.
Yeah, pretty solid one overall, I think. I'm really here for like people talking in boardrooms.
Yeah,
or over lunch, as this was the case.
Yes, more dinner room scenes, please.
Yes, I super love fantasy politics in any capacity, especially if it's very, very well done like this one was. So I absolutely ate up this issue. I love it to pieces, and I still do. I can still remember when the last issue of X-Men came out, which was our Murderous Golden Girls, and then this one, which went straight into politics. And it was after this one that I went, okay, we really have something special going on here with these continuing stories, because these last 2 have been hits every single time, and they're completely different.
Yeah, I think, like, for the most part, this feels like a lot of posturing to me in a way that I would have preferred to, again, see, like, more, like, materiality to things. Like, I wish one of the people in the room had complained about, like, specific thing that had happened as a result of Krakoa existing and it having an impact on their economy or political system or what have you. But I guess I'm here for the Magneto speech, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do agree with you there. I would like to be shown things and not told things. But for me, that's just a very minor part of it. I can kind of live without it, I suppose. But I do see where you're coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then
All right,
Tim,
yeah.
Tim, did you have any final thoughts?
I feel like you guys about covered it here.
All right. Then are we ready to move on to our favorite band of the Marauders?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on.
So, with Marauders number 4, Red Bishop, it is also still written by Gary Duggan, and this one, because it is a little out of order, this one was released back in December of 2019, towards the end of it. We are opening here with another data page of the X desk, and it's a fun one. They mention that they are still underfunded and things aren't going too well, but we have our first instance of somebody noticing outside of the man with the peacock tattoo that mutants are coming back to life. The person who is writing these emails does mention that death is not a constant for the mutant world, but it does seem strange that the mutant Jumbo Carnation is back when he is mostly known for being a tailor.
Yeah, I like how they're beginning to be very overt about the fact that they are extremely underfunded. They do not have the resources to like keep up with what's going on with the mutants. I can relate to someone in this position.
Oh yeah, same. And I can imagine how frustrating that would be, being like, hey, I'm noticing all these things, but I can't do anything all about it.
Yeah, I do think this is really interesting. I like the just third paragraph in general where they just kind of stop and go on a rant about how they had to figure out the jumbo stuff through through social media because they don't have a way to just figure that out through like the official channels.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I do wonder like where this X desk is. Are they not aware that their country is actually like doing actual counterintelligence with Krakoa and not like stuck in on like a desk level looking at social media for clues? Like the US, as far as we know, is moving. It's moving at a speed that this desk is certainly not. So I do wonder like if this is a facade of some sort. They
I
have this guy here, it's kind of like the incompetent face of the Krakoan intelligence arm of the
Mhm.
U.S.
Knowing the history of a lot of U.S. intelligence agencies, I can easily see it that they're just not talking to each other. This is a guy at a desk who doesn't know what he's doing, and the CIA or the FBI or some other group are like, we can handle this. We don't need this new desk or whatever they put together.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
So, yeah, moving on from the X desk, we go to Brazil, where some mutants are trying to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And specifically some mutant children, as they are trying to get out, but the Brazilian Navy has blockaded them, and nobody can get out. Thankfully for them, the Marauders are here having a fantastic, wonderful time like they are in a Saturday morning cartoon.
Journey is
They're
happening.
doing what they do best.
Mm-hmm.
Pyro shows up singing any way you want it.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
really good. I really, really love these few panels where they just come in singing, throwing fire and ice everywhere, and then the wonderful and amazing Storm shows up to give, I believe his name is Paragon.
Well, this guy says "fuck you, Paragon." I don't know if that is a title of like what he's from or his actual name, but yeah.
He's about to give his name, I think, when he gets shocked.
Yeah, he says, "Do you really want to risk a fight with me?" Storm took that personally and messes this dude up.
Yes, with the wonderful line of, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, this guy gets bodied. She hits him with a lightning bolt. He said, "Oh, is that all you got?" And then she hits him with a larger lightning bolt.
And he does not get up. So that was that taken care of very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, these mutant kids are rescued and sent through a gate that is on the boat, and that is all we see of Brazil, as we are now back in Taipei with
Oh,
Kitty.
before we move on,
Mhm.
looking at the guy like in the crater that the main vault left, that guy just got jam shot.
He did. I didn't even
Yeah,
notice.
that's a very good way to point it. Yeah, this guy, Pyro refers to this as you glass that some explicit here. And yeah, that's pretty accurate. This guy gets deleted.
Yeah, this guy gets Yamcha'd pretty hard.
Yeah, he's Yamchin, just Yamching in that crater.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, move on. Moving on.
Okay, moving on from Dragon Ball Z. Again, we are in Taipei now, as Kate and Bishop are working together to head into this billionaire's building that Bishop has scouted out.
Uh-huh. Kate hasn't gotten the Krakoan language downloaded into her head yet, so she can't read what's on the map.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things that I feel like you don't really think about until she like says it, and it's like, oh yeah, you didn't walk through the gate.
Yes, I think that's a fun little tidbit, and I'm glad Ryder is still going on with that storyline and is like, hey, that's still a thing. We didn't fix it.
So Kate really wants Bishop to be a bishop.
And he very much does not want to be a bishop.
But I also want to talk about their plan here, because Kate's plan is parachute into the building and phase through the ceiling. And this is apparently something that she thought about before and pitched to Logan as trying it, and Wolverine said no.
I feel like if Wolverine says your plan is too crazy to work, maybe consider it.
Yeah, but they pull it off.
They
It
do.
works.
Yeah, they only have 90 seconds to go through the missing billionaire Lim Zhao's house. But hey, you know what? I'm sure they're going to have enough time and not sidetrack and do something else. Like, say, put an ivory tusk into a wall.
I think that's a good use of their time.
To be fair, I would agree with you. That's a very good use of her time.
Yeah, so the Zhaos here are very, very rich.
Yes, and then they do give us a little bit of a summary just to remind people of who they are. This was the woman that we saw in Taipei giving the anti-mutant rally, who said her husband disappeared when he touched a Krakoan gate. But according to Krakoa, the man never showed up, so nobody has any idea where he...
Yeah.
So I guess we're about to figure that out, because they figure out the panic room has some psychic dampeners on it, and they are going in.
Yes, thankfully for them, Kate's phasing powers are incredible and amazing. So they just kind of walk into this mysterious panic room that is in the middle of this building, and they find Mr. Lim, who they very quickly find out has begun to worship mutants as gods.
Yeah, I really love how they just no-clip through the walls to get to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
It makes heisting very easy.
Yeah, speed running through with the sheets on.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, this guy joined a cult. Maybe not a cult, but he's definitely in the same camp of mutant worship as a lot of the people that we saw at the park.
Yes, Bishop does call it a mutant worshipping cult, apparently called the Order of X. But it's I mean, he's clearly not doing well because he does call them gods and says he prays to them. That feels kind of culty, so...
No relation.
No relation, okay. For us?
Yeah.
Yeah, no relation. The study is very different than the X.
Yeah, no, that's not us.
We're very objective about it.
Mm-hmm.
So here's one question. This guy calls Kate Shadowcat.
Yes, that is a old X-Men name she used to use. Kate here has used like 4.
I figured. Just curious about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a very, very old name for her. Also, when people would call her Kitty, which I think is where that came from because she was Shadow Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually don't think so. I think Kitty started when she first got introduced, and she had a different name at first. I think Shadowcat's one of her more well-known names.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever saw the X-Men Evolution cartoon, I know she was using it in that cartoon.
Okay.
But before that, she used Ariel and Sprite. Also, apparently went by Star-Lord for a little bit. I forgot she dated Peter Quill for a little.
Huh. Oh, I learned something today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened.
Well, I'm glad she dropped Sprite because I don't feel like that fits her at all.
Yeah, she didn't have those first two for all that long, but when she was first introduced, she kind of flip-flopped between those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We do get a very dark detail here about how when Xavier spoke to the entire world, and everyone heard it telepathically, a bunch of like people basically went mad. And I would imagine they were like emotionally vulnerable people, which seems kind of dark to me that
Yeah.
it had
Yeah,
this unintended consequence. Because I
like
doubt they were like thinking, hey, we're going to make a bunch of people who already might have like uh, a mental condition or something
Mm-hmm.
start worshipping us or just break down because they're getting like a psychic transmission from a mutant,
yeah,
which
because
might have been good to bring up during the politics meeting. Like I bet there's like funding being spent on people like that and like
Um,
social upheaval
would
regarding like
would there
that
be?
stuff.
I feel like if that did happen, at least speaking of the United States, they would just be left on their own devices. I don't think the politicians would actually care.
no, I think they would if you could like
It
kind of
would be
further your if you could like drive whatever thing you're pushing, especially like it. I don't know who they would sue and how helpful this would be, but like there would absolutely be a class action lawsuit.
it would be a card they could play at the
Yeah,
very least.
yeah. Like,
Like it's
hey,
something
remember
they
when
could
you
blame on the mutants.
remember when you guys broke a bunch of people's minds?
Uh-huh.
Hey, you know what? As much as I would hate it, can we at least get a clip or two of what mutant Fox News looks like? Because I bet that's a topic that they're pushing.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
But
Um,
back to the action. The door to this panic room opens, and Lim is trying to calm the situation, but these two guards or assassins, using arms very similar to Lady Deathstrike, begin to attack the mutants instead.
yeah,
Yeah, they're good for like 3 panels.
yeah. We get it's a little bit of a fun fight scene. I really like Kate phasing a pillow through one of them. It looks incredibly painful, and it's pretty creative use of the phasing power, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It looks extremely painful because this lady is immediately incapacitated.
Yeah.
But there's even an earlier one where one of these ladies does try to swipe Kate in the face and it just phases through her. Again, this is something the Marauders comic has done so far, but it's really creative uses of everybody's. And this pillow thing, while really messed up, is one of those.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's something that you traditionally wouldn't think of as a weapon, but just like in the hands of someone that can phase objects through people, that's pretty painful. How are
And
they gonna
And
Kate
get that
gets her
out?
nose broken again.
Oh yeah, she did get punched in the nose again.
yeah, poor Kate. But as we said, they're very quickly taken care of, and we cut to the Taipei Arena, where Lim's wife is giving another anti mutant rally, and they very quickly crash that rally with her wife or her husband there as they bring him and say, well, actually, your husband's not missing. We found him in one of your houses.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just absolutely broadcasted that to the world. I'm sure that's going to end all of the
Mm-hmm. I do think it's fun here because they do have Lim right next to him, and he just goes, hi, honey, my gods delivered me from my prison. Just, kind of driving it in a little bit more that, hey, yeah, this guy's not.
We get another data page here of a private communication between Bishop and Hank. Beast, where Bishop tells Hank about how he has been asked to join the Hellfire Company as Kate's bishop, and Beast kind of pushes him to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more on a security front, just so they can have somebody else in the Hellfire Club. But yeah, I would say this is a low to mid range data page. It's fine.
Yeah. They make sure to mention the like Deathstrike like enemies that they encountered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it has now been put on Beast's radar, so at least he knows about it, so somebody else does. And we go back to Taipei as Shen complains that her life and her family's lives are now ruined because of what the mutants did and how badly they embarrassed her in front of all these people. So she is going to take her anger out by joining up with a different group. A group that calls themselves a Hominis Verendi.
Yeah, the
They
Hellfire
say-
Club kids.
Yeah, they say they're no longer Hellfire Club, and I feel like I'm missing some.
Yeah, I haven't read this plot line really at all, but yeah, these kids took over the Hellfire Club at some point. They're basically a group of like young, rich sociopaths.
Hmm.
Yes, I looked them up. Tim is correct. They are all members of the inner circle of the old Hellfire Club. They're all very rich, pretty much sociopathic. Interestingly enough, I do have their names. It is Katie Kilgore, Wilhelma Kensington, Manuel and Duke. I'm not sure. And then Maximilian Frankenstein. And to say this, yes, he is the last living descendant of Dr. Frankenstein. So there you go.
Oh,
Sure.
fun fact. It is canon in early X-Men that the X-Men fought Frankenstein's monster.
Nice. So this kid has more of a reason to hate the X-Men because they
Oh
beat
yeah,
up.
that's a bona fide grudge.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, not much else on them that I know of. I came into this not knowing who they were. Honestly, their appearance here at the end almost takes away from the quote unquote seriousness of the comic. Because yeah, you do have all of this conspiracy, this anti-mutant push this lady's going, and then you turn the page and here's a bunch of kids sitting at a table talking about how they're gonna ruin mutant lives. It's very odd. It's very comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah, comic book villain ass kids.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also went ahead and tried to translate the name Hominus Verendi. Apparently, it doesn't translate very well because I got feared people or people of fear, and some people have gotten completely different translations of it. So it's not a one for one, but they're supposed to be invoking something very spooky and edgy.
Yeah, I get the gist out
Mhm.
of those
Yeah.
suggestions you got.
Yeah. But that is the wrap up for Marauders here. What did you two think about it?
It was alright. I like how they closed the um diversion of the woman claiming husband had disappeared. Her husband had.
Yeah. I thought that was a pretty good wrap up for the plot too. It was cool seeing them get the mutants out of Brazil. I don't know how necessary it was, but it's kind of just nice seeing them like do what they're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like the Marauders books have seemed a little scattered to me so far.
yeah.
I like that they now have something to do, or at least there's the implication of them having something to fight in the near future. Because they just have like these little adventures rescuing mutants, which are over in like 5 pages or so, and then we've got some politics with the Hellfire stuff. But beyond that, I really want them to like have an objective, like to be pursuing.
Yeah. I think this issue gave a little bit more to Bishop, who I think hadn't really had a too great of a showing so far in Marauders. So that was nice. But
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I'm hoping he can be a little bit more focused after all this.
Yeah,
I'm
but I do like Kate a lot as a lead. I really like her powers, which
Mhm.
are extremely overpowered as we see in this issue. And she's just a good kid. I like spending time with her.
This is a broken team of mutants, like I'm kind of realizing.
Yeah, they're all very, very strong in their own right, but together, oof.
Yeah.
So what's Bishop's power again?
Oh, that is one I am not super sure on. I think he. Let me look it up.
Because I don't think having a cool gun counts as a superpower.
Well, I mean, it can.
Hey,
Was he born with that gun?
That's Cable's superpower, right?
All right, Bishop. Absorb all forms of radiant or conductive energy that are directed toward him and to release that energy from his body.
Okay.
So he can absorb energy. I wonder if it's directed toward the gun or like out from the
Maybe?
gun.
Or maybe they made the gun so he could do that.
Yeah, the gun's like a conduit of some sort.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
he,
in a way, having a cool gun is his power.
there you go.
I can't argue against that, I guess.
Yeah, he does seem to be like Sebastian Shaw, but he can absorb a lot more types of energy than Shaw can. So he's a Shaw, but better.
Yep. All right, then. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, just a closing thought on it. I am a bit more positive on this one, I think, than you two are. It's still my least favorite of the Marauders books that we've read, but that's saying, hey, all these A pluses and here's a B plus. It's still going to be fun. It's just not the same strength as the.
Sure, yeah. I think it's about time it like starts positioning itself towards a main objective or a main like arc.
Mhm.
So I'm happy to see it move that way. But
Yeah.
we do need a transition of sorts, and this was it.
Mhm.
So
All right.
meanwhile,
Yeah, are we
tell
ready?
tell us about Britain.
Yes, are we ready for the land of magic in Britain once more? All right, so with Excalibur number 4, verse 4, Fall Back and Think of England, written by Teenie Howard. This one is also released towards the end of December of 2019. We are now back in Britain, where Rogue is still comatose, and Gambit is taking this moment to just have a bit of a heartfelt conversation with her.
So can Betsy just like move between worlds without any restriction? Is this how they got back?
Yes, because she has the power of Captain Britain. Captain Britain's whole thing is that they can move between Otherworld and the normal world whenever they want.
Okay, I was a little shocked to see Gambit back here, but I guess
Yeah.
it does make sense if they can just like move back and forth.
It is a bit of a disjointed jump. It's not very much explained, which I feel like happens a lot with the Excalibur books. But yeah, it's just, hey, powers, hand wave.
Yeah, fine.
The humans are mad.
Yes, the humans are very mad, and this is something I think the Excalibur book does very well in that it takes real-world political movements and statements and also wraps it into the story. For instance, here, there are a bunch of humans around what looks like Buckingham Palace as Betsy is meeting with the Queen. A lot of the signs that people here have say, keep Britain human, Krakoa is for mutants, Britain is for humans, so on and so forth. And this is what I believe, I'm not sure as Teenie Howard has not given an interview, that this is piggybacking off the back of growing anti-immigrant sentiment in Britain at the same time. And there were a lot of protests that people had where they had similar signs, but instead of saying keep Britain human, it says keep Britain British or keep Britain white if they were going mask off. And I do think that the transition to here is a very good commentary on the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's definitely evoking that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I would agree. That does seem to be the goal here. But where is the Order of X?
I'm sure the protesters probably scared them off and told them to go home.
It's
And
okay. They can watch Gambit on TV.
yes, as he catches a bottle thrown at him and blows it up, which
Yeah,
I'm sure is going to go over well.
Gambit is not in the mood for these people.
No, not at all.
Gambit has not been in a good mood since issue 1.
No, his whole inclusion in Excalibur has been just sad and depressing for him.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But instead of seeing the direct fallout from that, we get Richter and Jubilee walking through the hall as Richter is explaining the British quirks over there, as I would put it.
Yeah, they're talking like geography and like the different national identities, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
On Britain and England and so on.
And a lot of good information, especially, at least for myself, who does not know that much about the political atmosphere of it. And we do get a bit from Jubilee, who is asking what Apocalypse did to Richter, because he seems to be doing very, very well.
He's an Apocalypse stan now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, yeah, he's a good dude. Gambit should talk to him.
Yeah, you get one person believing in you, and all of a sudden. But we do see the fallout of Gambit getting a bottle thrown at him, as there are more explosions outside, as Gambit is pulling apart signs using his powers, and instead of de-escalating the situation, Jubilee and Richter escalate the situation and also begin attacking the crowd.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the good call, but Betsy comes out and says, hey, don't stop that, guys.
Yeah, I don't feel like Richter's powers lend themselves well to like pacifism,
Yeah, no, not really. He just controls
like-
the earth.
crowd control. or
Yeah.
anything like that.
No. That's
Maybe
more
make
Unless
a
you
wall,
want to be-
man.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently they are they're now called Excalibur, and more importantly, beholden to the Queen. That's
Yeah.
weird.
I mean, I guess Captain Britain has always been beholden to the Queen, I would imagine, to some
Yeah.
degree. But now
Yeah.
they're like their own branch of like under the Queen's commands.
Yeah, that's I wonder how Krakoa feels about that.
Yeah, I'm sure they're, feeling great about that one. Just as great as all these people seem to be treating it. But yeah, they are now beholden to the Queen, which is never shown in this comic, because I believe there's actually a rule against that in the UK. You can't show the Queen in these kind of things, which is weird. But yeah, they are now a group called Excalibur, beholden to the Queen. We get a data page explaining more of this. Basically, when Betsy is in the normal world, she is a knight of the Queen. When she is in Otherworld, she is the Queen's representative.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I almost wonder if this was just how it was in general and she just got the same deal her brother did. But yeah, so the other thing that's a little bit interesting to note here is that they recognize that Otherworld can be a threat. So at any time they can be like, hey, stand with us against Otherworld, and Captain Britain is supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine that Brian got the same thing. It's just Betsy's been so busy, and the change or the handoff of the mantle was so chaotic that she just hasn't had a chance to.
Yeah. So how do we rank this data page?
Ooh. I would say kind of low. And not very high for me. Yeah, it gives us some more about how Captain Britain works in this world, but meh.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. I don't think it's not important information to have. But like I don't know if it would have hurt if we just didn't.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. But after we learn all of this, we are back in the Braddock Lighthouse with all of our friends as they are trying to decide what to do. Betsy says that she's going to go talk to Coven Akaba, since it looks like Coven Akaba were the ones to start off this anti-Betsy political storm in the UK.
Yeah, and they have concerns about her citizenship. I'm not really sure what she was hoping to get out of this meeting.
I don't know either. I mean, we did have our MI13 agent show up at the door last time asking for her to come, so I don't know if she actually had a choice in the matter.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be great at like political maneuvering either.
No,
Yeah,
She's
no.
very
Not
new
at
to
all.
this.
She is not an Emma Frost or a Magneto.
Yeah, I am a bit surprised that Apocalypse does not speak up and like warn her of what's gonna happen if she goes.
Yeah, that
It
feels
feels like
it would be
something he
important.
would have been able to like foresee.
Yeah, but instead Apocalypse says, time to bring Rogue back, which Gambit seems enthusiastic about.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I'm gonna be off this series.
Yeah.
Finally, me and my wife can go do something else.
Uh-huh.
So, but in order to save Rogue, he does need a Master of Earth and a Master Thief, which
They're gonna go
thankfully,
get some rocks.
there's two of them right here.
Yep.
But before we can get that, Jubilee and Shogo head back to what seems to be Krakoa, as Brian's wife Megan and their daughter have arrived on Krakoa because it looks like there are protesters and anti-mutant sentiment individuals outside of their home.
Yeah. Jamie's here and acting like a dick.
Yeah, he's still, being an asshole, as he always is. He even says, hey, Jubilee, why don't you go take off for a bit with the kids, and I will keep my brother's wife company.
Uh-huh.
Super nice there. But
Nope.
Gets
yeah.
plucked on the face for that.
Yes,
he
a
kinda
good old punch.
deserved it. We get a data page after this about the Braddock family tree.
This one is probably much more below the other one. This is a very unneeded data page, I think.
Yeah, this doesn't really tell us much that we didn't know. We learned that they had parents and a grandpa that had similar names to them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This just feels like it's here to reinforce that, hey, there are other Braddocks still around, which we just
Yeah.
got with by seeing Jamie. So, yeah, kind of meh. But we are back with our two Masters of Earth and Master Thief in a very, very wonderful green-tinted page here. It's very stark from the white data page. I actually really like it. And they are digging beneath the earth as Apocalypse has let them know that the mutants who died there ages ago left behind their power in the form of crystals. So, therefore, they need to dig down and find it.
Gotta go get the magic rocks.
Gotta go get the magic rocks. Although Gambit rightfully points out that why would they need a master thief? Because to steal something, you need to take it from someone. And they very quickly run into those individuals. They are a bunch of druids who live alongside and under the earth instead of on top of it.
I love the druids.
I love them too. They're so chill. They get attacked and they're just like, brother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're very relaxed about this whole thing.
Yes, they're incredibly impressed by Richter also.
Yeah, Richter does not seem to know what to make of this because he just assumes they're enemies.
Which, fair. I mean, you go underground and there's people there. Usually they're probably going to fight you back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but no, they're just like chilling there.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, we'll help you.
Communing with the earth.
Yeah, just having a good time.
Leave
Leave them to their business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, instead of leaving everybody to their business, the two of them find the crystals and are taking them when the druids catch up and begin to attack them until they realize that Richter is one of their own and begin to essentially fawn over him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't even think they began to attack him. They just kind of popped up out of the walls.
And we're
I
like,
think they might have been
what's
trying
up?
to like keep them in place, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Because Richter ran away every time they tried to talk.
Yeah, I think what happens is some rocks are about to fall on them, and then the druids are the ones who intervene.
Yeah, that might be what happened. It's honestly a little bit confusing, but they don't seem very hostile here at all. The opposite, in fact.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're like very buff dudes.
Yeah, just hanging out in their cloaks with their like antler things.
Uh-huh. They found a new friend.
Yeah. They say, Richter, you have cool earth powers too. You can
Here's
join
your
us.
here's your complimentary robes and like flowers.
Yeah, they just give him a
thingy.
robe. Like, it's,
Yeah, flowers and face paint, and he's just kind of like, what do I do with this?
Yeah, the druids are great. They are like the big bright spot of this run next to Apocalypse.
And despite showing themselves to be friends, they do give Richter the actual crystal because the other crystals that they put out were for thieves and to deceive people, which they show that they don't like because they immediately try to bury Gambit under the earth for stealing one of their depleted crystals.
Uh-huh. They succeed.
Yeah, Richter tries to save him, loses control of his powers briefly, and it makes the cliff crumble, and Gambit falls.
Huh? Hanging out with Sabretooth now.
Yep.
That's true. But before he falls, he does give Richter one very good piece of advice, which is, hey, you're being worshipped right now, and it's really not all that great, so maybe don't listen to the druids.
Yep. So meanwhile, we're back to Coven Akaba.
As Captain Britain, our friend from MI-13, Mariana Stern, and Ruben are all having tea together.
MI-13?
Is it? I might be saying that incorrectly.
I know MI6 is typically like their thing. I don't know if there's...
I might have gotten that wrong. What was his name again?
Pete Wisdom.
Pete Wisdom. Thank you. I could not remember his name. That's why I was defaulting to that. So, but they are all having a nice conversation together. And
surrounded by taxidermy on all sides.
Yes, just covered with dead animal heads here.
Yeah, very aggressively.
Betsy kind of calls them out on the name choice, which Ruben says, "Oh, actually, my family was here before Apocalypse."
Oh,
it's very... It's a response that's very rooted in just weird nationalism.
Putting it as, oh, actually, her is correct. I didn't even think about it that way. But yeah, that's basically what he does. But for some reason, he fires back by going very much off the deep end and says, who knows how many mutant children were dashed on rocks before one of you came along who was powerful enough to do anything about it. Which, buddy, chill.
Yeah, Ruben might be a little racist.
A little bit.
A little.
Betsy, however, rightfully calls out this meeting as a trap, which the two of them point out as, well, sort of, but no. In fact, you walked yourself into the trap by not knowing how to be a good Captain Britain.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
According to them, apparently the dragon fire melted down some of the barriers, and now there's some mythical creatures just hanging out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Griffin?
I
get a
do like
griffin.
that little tidbit about the dragon. I think that's a good explanation. There's probably not dragons everywhere, or why Morgan Le Fay doesn't have one. But I think that's a fun twist on a dragon's power.
Well, I don't even know if these people are telling the truth or not.
That's true. They could be lying.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, a bunch of stuff is coming through, and it's time. Rogue has opened her eyes.
Mm-hmm. Because with the barriers between this world and Otherworld weakened, and Otherworld now starting to pour in here, apparently Apocalypse knew this was coming, and had prepared for it all along, including with whatever happened to Rogue.
Yeah, I really like the water portal these bat chimeras are coming out of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a cool looking design here.
Yeah, I love how it's just leaking into the ocean.
So yeah, I think Excalibur is probably my least favorite of this week's issues again, but I still do really enjoy this one.
I feel like it's on a very similar level to Marauders to me. I don't think it's bad. It's a little scattered, but I at least have a grip on what's going on.
Right.
And I do like the characters. I think I've been endeared to them enough to care about what's going on.
Yeah, it's a good cast. I don't think it's as quite as strong as the Marauders cast, but I like I like this group too.
Yeah, I do find it funny how once things have been resolved and I think it's time for it to focus on one thing, we get Gambit falling off a cliff, who knows where, and the chimeras attacking and stuff like that. So who knows where this is going. I think this is the one I have the least of a read on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with you there. In fact, I agree with your conclusion about this one. I would put it about the same bar as Marauders. I think this one's a bit better. But yeah, no, this is the one where I really don't know where it's going. Because again, what was it? Last issue we were in Otherworld, and then suddenly, hey, we're back. So next issue we could be back in Otherworld. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we will see.
Mm-hmm. But hey, you know what? Fun times overall. I still enjoyed them.
Yeah, this is a solid group of issues here.
Yeah, solid set. I enjoyed this ones.
So do we want to I guess we can go ahead and wrap this up. Next episode we will be discussing New Mutants number 4, X-Force number 4, and Fallen Angels number 4.
Oh man, can't wait. We're going to be the Fallen Angels fan cast.
Yeah, we are. We're getting into the nitty-gritty, almost to the climax of this legendary run.
Well, if that's the case, and we are going to be wrapping up here, Sergio, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Fireblend, also on co-host, and they can also hear more of my voice on Stray Reads, which is my monthly book club podcast I do with someone else over at the same platforms you can find me. Mm-hmm. We just published our most recent episode on the first 3 Murderbot Diaries novellas. That was a lot of fun to record, so hope people listen to that. Enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And I highly recommend that podcast as well. If you are looking for me, you can find me at Sawneeks on Twitter. That is SAWNEEKS. I don't post that often anymore, but if you need to get in contact with me, that's the best way to do it. And Tim, if the Marauders are trying to find you and save you, where should they look?
Probably somewhere in a cave wherein I will be wearing a robe.
Gotcha. With face paint?
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Well, if you are looking to follow us on social media, you can find us on Twitter and on Tumblr under Study of X. And also, if you had any questions, comments, your best jokes, or anything else, you can send that to us on studyofx@gmail.com, and we might read it here on the podcast. Other than that, did you two have any final goodbyes before we head on out?
No, not really. Everyone have a good night.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Until next time. Later, mutants.
Later.
Bye.